You are all about to witness some organic hip-hop jazz. 100%.
Yes. I am Sankofa The Poet. If you don't mind, I'm going to share a little bit of my story and share some poetry. The topic that I'm going to touch on tonight is not something that's always discussed in polite company. So it's a little deep. And so I'm just going to ask y'all to hold on to your seats. I don't claim to have grown up hard knocks or destitute. I come from an upper middle class home where appearances were everything, raised with my mother and my father. My first experience with violence in relationships came when I was just 15 years old. I was dating a man who was 23 at the time, and he was a drug dealer. I equated gifts and sex to love. The more he bought me, the more I figured, the more he loved me. He equated gifts to ownership. So essentially, he owned me. When he said jump, I had to say how high. The result of my disobedience was the shattered remains of a glass coffee table being picked out of my back. All of this unbeknownst to my parents because they were too busy keeping up appearances. His first piece is entitled 21. 21 years of E&J next to you at night instead of my mother. Endless upon endless awakening to the raw stench of putrid piss stinging my nostrils, you cuddling in orgasmic bliss with the backwash remains of your tawdry affair with Mrs. Brandy. Some nights you go both ways, Mr. Vodka would do too. When all my mother ever wanted was you, all my mother ever wanted was you, all my mother ever wanted was you. What good is a husband when his first love often lies at the bottom of whatever box so he can get his hands on? 30 years of marriage wasted, from the liquor he spaced, shot up and free-basted, dry-tasted. How dry I am, dried up from the unmet possibilities like a raisin in its proverbial sun. You might win some, but you just lost one. You might win some, but you just lost one. Lost her. When you let Seagram's gin and tonic, vodka I'm on it, become your main squeeze. You sold back the vows you spoke when you got on your knees. So you allowed her to depart from you. 21 nights of E&J next to you at night instead of my mother. My mother makes love to her Bible, allowing the words of the scripture to break over her body when it should be your hands, when it should be your body, when it should be your love. She buried herself so deep in the psychosemantics of religious fanatics that you would have to personally text message God to reach her. 21 fights, 21 nights, 21 DUIs, 21 lies. And see, what you don't see is that your children grew up without a father who was right before their eyes. You claim that all the hope you had for your family, for your lineage that you placed in me, that I aborted any chance I had for success when I bore your first grandchild, we'll call him blessed. I went off lusting because it was loving that I needed. I needed my father to stop the brakes on my speed and go speed racer, go speed racer. No more daddy's little whore, no more daddy's little girl, just daddy's little whore. 21 years and you said it's only you can. You disgraced me, and see that little bastard, he'll never amount to anything. But, Daddy, I know why the cage bird sings, and I know that even though you won't admit it, you're a little proud of me, and that I don't depend on you and Mom, and I can make it on my own. That's why sometimes you can't call my line and quickly hang up the phone. They say a girl marries a man who reminds her most of her daddy. See, I'd be alone if, sadly, the only man I had to be with was just like you.
I probably died writing some of the wickedest lyrics ever witnessed since the beginning of this hip-hop shit. As if I'm terminally ill with style that you can feel. Couldn't pay me for the level of skill that I possess. The potential to wreck, heart is vehicular, manslaughter. I'm so precise and so particular. Flows